Hey guys, it's Tina. I didn't plan on filming tonight, but I've had a couple of sips of wine. It's been an okay day, and I just planned on coming home and chilling, probably reading some, and then I got the kids to bed without a whole bunch of drama, and again, I had a couple of sips of wine, and I started to get curious because last time I filmed with my camera, my microphone had this weird buzzing sound. So I wanted to film tonight more out of curiosity if maybe I didn't plug it in enough, or have I broken my microphone, or whatever other malarkey is going on with that. Here I am with wine talking about the books that I read in November. Now, I know in my November TBR, I had grand plans of reading all of the Stormlight Archive up into Rhythm of War. They didn't happen, but I did get pretty far. I finished Words of Radiance. Loved it. I have a review of it, so if you want to check that out, I think that one is spoiler and non-spoiler review. I'll have to double check that. So if you want to check that out, I'll put that in the description below. Words of Radiance so far is my favorite book of the series. This book had everything. It was just fantastic. Look at how much I tabbed the, focus. That focused? Yeah, I tabbed that. It was a good time. Then I finished Oathbringer, which is the third book in the Stormlight Archive by Brandon Sanderson. Now, I'd have to say this is my least favorite book out of the three that I've read so far. If I were to rate them by favoriteness, I would rate Words of Radiance 1, Way of Kings 2, Oathbringer 3. I'm not going to go into a ton of this one because it's the third book in the series and a lot happens in the first 2,000 pages of the series. Anything I say right now might be a huge spoiler, but the story continues. This isn't a bad book. It's just my least favorite. I feel that we should have had more time with some characters and less time with other characters. Basically is the gist of my opinion. Good book, worth a read if you want to start the series. I've heard a bunch of people having differences of opinions when it comes to the third book and what they think about it. Then the next book I read is The Sword of Kaidan. I read this with the Shelf Space Book Club on Discord, and I really enjoyed this book. We follow our two main characters, a mother and a son. The son's storyline is that he's lived in his village for his entire life. He has grew up with the legends and the history of the village that he has been told. He is a heir of one of the greatest houses with these special abilities to do amazing things, and he's expected to be the village warrior. From his storyline is the pressure of him growing up and expected to be this basically huge badass. How he's measuring himself up to his father and his uncle. And then we have his mother's storyline, who she actually got out of this village and explored other places and other people with different beliefs and different magic styles and a whole bunch of different stuff. And she hasn't been sheltered in this whole village the entire time. So she has an outside perspective. But the mother's storyline in this book is so relatable to me and possibly any other mother that I know. It deals with subjects like depression, second guessing yourself as a mother, feeling like you're not doing a good enough job or you didn't do a good enough job, miscarriage. I don't think I've related to a fantasy book as much as I related to this book as a mother. It has a pretty cool magic system, but my relatability to the characters in this story is what makes it amazing and perfect. It will bring out all of the feels. So be aware that if you want to dive deep into emotions of parenthood, then I would read this book. This book may very well be one of my favorite books of this year. I feel like I'll definitely reread it. My last note on this book is that it does deal with miscarriage and it does dive deep. Be aware of that before you read it. Some people might not be ready for this type of topic depending on your season in life. And then the final book that I'm reading in November, that I started in November, and I'm still in the middle of it, but it's only 185 pages, is Shit My Dad Says. This book is hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. It's about this guy who quits his job in, I can't remember what city, finds a job in another California city where his girlfriend lives, so he doesn't have to drive hours back and forth between his place and his girlfriend's place, and he can live with her. And he goes, quits his job, shows up at her house, says, "Hey, surprise, I'm here to live." And she's like, no, we're breaking up. So then he has to go and live at his parents' house at the age of 20 something. So he goes back and lives at his parents' house, and his dad says the craziest things. So then he started putting like sayings that his dad says on Twitter, and then Twitter grew to some astronomical thing. And then I think eventually he wrote a book. These are like little tiny short stories of his life and situations that his dad said some crazy things. Like it goes back to he was a child and he like didn't want to sleep in the same hotel room as his grandpa, and how that was discussed between him and his dad. And then it goes to like him playing Little League and his dad being the coach, and just a bunch of little like short 2 or 3 page stories. And then it has, I don't know if you can see that, like little blurbs in between the 2 or 3 page chapters per se, but just random stuff that his dad has said on random occasions. And it is pretty hilarious and a good palate cleanser between the Stormlight Archive and the Sword of Kaigen, where all of those books are pretty heavy with emotion and diving deep into like depression, mental disorders, and deep subjects and deep stuff. How many times can I say deep? I just thought I would pick this book up and read some funny stuff. So I'm enjoying this book. I haven't read the whole thing, but I'm probably going to give it 5 out of 5 because there's really not a chapter that I haven't laughed at. So yeah, I'm going to read this. That's it for November. That's all I got. I didn't read all of the books. I didn't get to, I think it was Shadow Rising. I didn't get to Shadow Rising, so my page count wasn't 3,000. It was more of 2,600, 27, 2,800, which is still quite a bit of pages. Let me know if you read any of these books and what you thought about it. I plan on filming my December TBR in the next couple of days. So I will see you then. Bye. Pretty. Okay. Oh gosh. Why can't I find my words? Who have. How do I explain this? I should have wrote notes.